What would you little maniacs like to do first?
Have mercy. I've been wearing the same underwear since Tuesday.
I can vouch for that.
This is getting good. You could miss it. I consider you guys my friends. I'm not wrong, am I?
Oh, maybe this shouldn't happen.
You know, maybe it doesn't happen all the time, but it doesn't mean it isn't right.
Any questions?
All right, Mega Mike, the movie man here today, or I guess in this case, Mr. Mega Mike. Welcome to my channel. We have a super fun stream planned for you all tonight. We are celebrating the legacy of the great John Hughes. So we're talking all John Hughes movies he's directed, written, produced. So how this stream is going to work is I'm going to bring out my panel of guests. We're going to talk about some of our favorite John Hughes memories and kind of how we got into John Hughes movies. We'll then go through 3 recommendations of John Hughes titles we want to recommend out to you all. And then we actually have some honorable mentions. And then not only that, today, kind of a fun new segment on here, we have a couple discussion questions that relate to the writer strike going on, AI, remakes, but dealing with John Hughes. So that's going to be a really fun segment to try out. But let's go ahead and get everybody in here. Let's go ahead. Well, actually, first, let me go ahead and bring up this banner so I can remind you all, just like Uncle Buck, to go ahead and drill that like and subscribe button. And don't you forget about me with those super chats. And also check out those memberships. I hear they're some kind of wonderful. But let's go ahead and bring everybody in. We got Derek's, Convicts, and Cinephiles. How are we doing out there?
Oh, there, yeah, I'm good. Thanks for having me, as always. I'm Derek, the convicted cinephile. Slightly less complicated name. John Hughes memories. Oddly enough, my John Hughes memories are probably not knowing who John Hughes was and watching every movie he ever wrote as a child, and then learning 30 years later that they were all John Hughes movies. That's probably the simplest way I could put it. He wrote most of the movies I grew up watching without me realizing it at the time.
I know, isn't that amazing? It's like you look at his filmography and you're like, wait, I've seen that. Oh my goodness, I've watched so many of these movies and I had no idea John Hughes was connected to them. Like, to me, that just blew my mind when I looked up his filmography. I'm like, he's worked on more stuff than most people, it seems. So that's great.
Especially that, he wrote over like 50 screenplays or something like that, which, considering the span of time he worked in, is insane. Because he only really directed throughout the 80s and extremely early 90s, and then wrote, I want to say it was like 53 movies or something like that, or 53 credits. Some of them were shows. But
Oh yeah, that at least got made into movies, but I think he had other scripts kind of tucked away that I don't even think became movies, because he could bust out scripts like nothing. He would write scripts in a weekend, so I'm sure he has some other ones.
He literally would. Yes.
Around back there. All right, let's go ahead and bring in some other fans here, of course, of John Hughes. I know we got Uncle Tony in the house. How we doing out there?
Doing good. Glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I've got a lot of good John Hughes memories growing up. I was a teenager in the 80s and a young adult in the 90s. And so I have a lot of good memories. A lot of his films resonated with me because it was kind of that period of my life when these stories were happening. So lots of good music, great soundtracks, and just a lot of heartwarming type films.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And then let's go ahead and bring in, we got Curly Dude here. How we doing?
What's up, guys? This is my first time on the channel, so excited to be here.
Yes, channel debut here, and you came in with an awesome name, one I didn't even think of. So that's impressive. So what are some John Hughes memories for you?
Honestly, like everyone's already said, he's just your childhood, and there's movies you don't even know that he was a part of, like things like Beethoven. You don't know that until later on. Like, when you're a kid, you don't think about that stuff, but then it's like, dang, he's part of a lot of things that I watched. Because like in the 80s, he directed and everything like that. And then when you look and see his last movie that he directed was Curly Sue, and that was like 91. And you're like, oh my gosh, is that when his career ended? You're like, no, he still has all these other awesome movies in the 90s that you just don't even know to put his name onto. But then once you know, you're like, okay, that's a John Hughes. That's a John Hughes movie. And that's actually what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to pull movies that aren't very popular. Like I already know, like, all of his best movies are going to be pulled tonight. So I'm going to try to put a shine on some of the movies that people may not know or may have forgotten about. John Hughes style.
I can't wait to see those. But you can tell though when it is a John Hughes movie, just because you got that feel and flavor to it. Even if you watch a movie and you don't know, once you've seen it, you're like, wait a second, did John Hughes write that script? And then 9 out of 10 times he did.
And I'll tell you this. My whole life I thought John Hughes had something to do with My Girl. And when when you asked me to do the stream, I was, My Girl's going to definitely be on my list. I was like, I don't see him a part of this movie. And that totally blew my mind.
Oh yeah, I could definitely see the connection there though. That's a great movie too, by the way.
Yeah. But it feels like it would be John Hughes, Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and bring in somebody I know who is a massive John Hughes fan. I could not have the stream without her. So let's go ahead and bring in Movies and Sue.
Hello. What's going on? I should be Curly Sue.
I know, right?
I didn't even think that totally just went over my head. I should be Curly Sue. Anyway, I adore John Hughes movies. Like Tony was a little bit older than me because I was born in 80, but I was, those younger years growing up in the 80s, going into the 90s, and I just absolutely loved pretty much every single John Hughes movie. There's not a bad one in the bunch to me. They're just so good. And he knew with his writing how to capture that time period of what, kids were going through, teenagers. It was just amazing. It's such a shame that we lost him so early, because I would have loved to have seen what he would have done later on.
Yeah, but he had characters for every little walk of life. If you were a nerd, if you were a bully, whatever it could be, there's a character.
Every single stereotype of kid, of teenager,
And correct me if I'm wrong, he kind of retired early too from Hollywood, right? He wanted to get out of the industry. Does anybody remember that?
So
I feel like he could have kept going, right?
So he changed his name in the 90s because people didn't want to buy John Hughes movies anymore. So he changed it to Esmond Dante.
Right.
That was like early, like 93 kind of. But, I think after a while people knew who it was.
They knew who it was.
Yeah, it was easier for him to sell a script after the 80s. Because like I said, Curly Sue was his last directing movie because he just had enough of the system. He just did not like the system. That's why he filmed most of his movies in Chicago, or in Illinois, where there's no, if they wanted to come see him, they had to come fly and see him. So a lot of times there was nobody from the production or from the higher ups there because they were too busy in Hollywood, kind of thing.
Smart of them.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and check into the chat here. Let's see. We got Adrian saying hi there, Mike and Gus. Derek everywhere. Knock knock. Hughes there. John Hughes.
John Hughes.
Great joke. I love it. Oh, so good. We got Craig in the chat. Mama Blu-ray in the house. Yay.
My mom's here.
She was a big winner last night.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
She was so excited.
Yeah. And Bob was like, don't worry, I'll text her. Well, okay.
Because they're BFFs. They're like this.
And then we got that spicy 4K action. Good evening, everyone. Hope all is well.
Spicy.
Hi, Spicy.
We got Tiana loves movies. Hey,
hi, Tiana.
We got Sean saying hi, everyone.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, Sean.
We got Side Hustle in the house. Hey, guys.
Yeah.
Congrats, sir.
All right, dude who loves movies. What's up, everyone? Don't forget to roundhouse kick that like button. See, you always need a roundhouse in there, so thank you for putting that in there.
It's not a live stream without a roundhouse kick the like button.
But guys, you guys have to stretch before doing it. I don't want any lawsuits.
Straight to Blu-ray saying evening, everyone.
Evening.
Hello.
All right, everybody's saying hello to each other. Rockin' Roger saying, don't forget about Only the Lonely. See, that's one I have not yet seen, so I wonder if somebody's going to do that. Let's see. Side Hustle Cinema says, time waits for no man unless that man is Tony. All right, Mid-Level Media saying, what's up, everyone? Weird Science is hands down the best Hughes movie. I wonder who's going to pull that one tonight.
Up there.
It's a good song.
Oh, such a great song.
Yeah.
Oingo Boingo.
Mhm.
Oh my god, so much.
Mhm.
Mike,
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Mike, there's someone in the backyard or the backstage.
Oh, thank you. Wait, why don't I see them? I do not see them in the backstage. What? Okay, I don't see them on my screen.
Controlled or anything that you think they're?
Yeah, because I don't see them on. Yeah, I don't see fishes.
You have to scroll down.
There.
I did that once.
I saw him. In the I saw him in the private chat.
Yeah, I see him in the private chat. Why am I not? I wonder if I have to leave the stream and come back in. I don't know if that'll change anything.
So.
Oh, weird.
Oh, okay. Now I see him. Wait, he's there, kind of. Let's see if it loads. There we go. There we go.
There we go.
All right. Oh my gosh. So sorry about
There
that, guys.
we go.
I was sitting back there. I was watching everything going on. And you were like, he's not here. And I'm like, I swear I'm here. So sorry. Oh my gosh.
That's all right.
I was trying to be a ninja.
It can't be a John Hughes stream without fish.
Yeah. Some kind of wonder fish. You need that. Absolutely.
Hey, I don't have my name.
Movies and Sue, why don't you change your name?
She's
I want to be the Movies and Sue Club.
I think I can change you.
Yeah. I was saying, I think Mike can do it, but yeah, usually you can you
can change it yourself.
I think you can change it yourself.
Yeah, you
That's
can
okay.
definitely change it yourself.
You just click on your icon off to the side there.
With the little 3 dots on it.
That's all right.
It's important.
Sorry, can I just throw out my John Hughes little memory? I'm so sorry, guys. I'm making this longer, more difficult than it has to be. But I was born in the 70s, grew up in the 80s, and John Hughes was a big part of my childhood. My cousin, who was a little older than me, her early teens, so she was showing me like 16 Candles and stuff like that when I was really young. So like everybody said, growing up, you didn't know some of these were John Hughes, because he didn't, he wasn't the director. He had just written them or just produced them or whatever. So a lot of these movies are wonderful, and they have his stamp on it, like everyone said, because he has that kind of way of tuning into what's going on in life, whether it be teens or young adults or older adults, Family Feuds and things like that. So yeah, fantastic man.
All right, let's see. Going back into the comments here. Oh yeah, definitely everybody's saying hello to everybody. We also got, let's see. Oh yep, mid-level media saying fish. Fish. Let's see. Adrian says, "Will Mel jump over here?" That's the question. That's the question on everybody's mind. We'll see. Oh, Jim is saying she will pop over.
She will pop over.
Yep, Jim saying John Hughes movies were a big part of my childhood too, Fish. Adrian saying I was a teen in the 80s. Nice. See, I was not, alive in the 80s, so I had to go back and watch a lot of the movies. So that was a kind of fun experience. Let's see, John Doe, Juggalo. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Oh, and Steve Mars. Greetings, Sue, gentlemen, and Flick Fiends.
Hey, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
Oh, we got a great crowd tonight. Absolutely. Okay, so let's get into now our first John Hughes recommendation. So, first one we're going to recommend out. Derek, what do we got?
All right. This is lame because everyone's seen this movie a million times, but it's probably the John Hughes movie I've seen that he wrote. He didn't direct it. More than any other movie in his filmography, and that is just the original Home Alone.
Yes.
So, I saw this in theaters when I was, I had to be just turned 5 when it came out. I remember buying the VHS with the map of the house in it, with the Pepsi coupons in it, way more vividly than I should be able to remember. But yeah, it's just one of the childhood classics that you just watch 30-odd years later and you still love, and you show it to your kid who's the same age you were when you watched it, and he loves it just as much as you did. Unless you're Dell, he hates it. But everyone else, you gotta love Home Alone, and it's got Catherine O'Hara, who's amazing in everything she does, and the late great John Candy and Macaulay Culkin in arguably his finest role. But yeah, lame pick because everyone loves it except for Del. But,
yeah, and if I'm not wrong, that movie was in theaters for like 10 months.
Long
Oh, yeah.
time.
A really long
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Made
Yeah, it was like
tons
the
of money too.
ninth highest
it is-
grossing movie ever or something when it came out. Made
That's
like
crazy.
$285
Yeah.
million, something like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Now it'd be in theaters for 2 weeks and streaming.
Yeah, it would just Disney Plus like the new one did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was surprising that movie actually got made. Have you guys seen the Movies That Made Us series where they had all that drama? They try to shut down Home Alone, and then the person would come behind and be like, "No, keep going, keep going."
Yeah,
that's
So
crazy.
miracle, we actually got the movie, and so happy we did. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I had to
still
go.
some people's favorite holiday movie of all time, or you check with most people, it's top 5 at least. So
Right.
Yeah,
So it's on that list somewhere, usually, Bill.
unless you're done.
but the movie's so good. It's so funny.
So good.
Yeah. Has
Yeah.
everything. The music, the acting.
Yeah.
Daniel Stern, Joe Pesci, fantastic.
Oh yeah, they're
great.
amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah, I
Daniel
guess-
Stern almost wasn't even in it, right? He was going to be
Yeah.
in Daniel Roebuck, and then they're like, "Yeah, you're not working," and they pulled in Daniel Stern at the last
Yeah.
minute.
Yeah, and I remember them making fun of Daniel Stern on the set of City Slickers. Like, oh, that little family movie you did was #1 again. And then he said like every week they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, it's still #1." Like
Yeah.
Billy Crystal's like, "Oh my goodness," you know.
For 6 months, probably.
Yeah.
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 It's a staple every holiday season to watch that. So I
Yeah.
mean, it's going to live forever.
Well, and that can go show you like he did another holiday classic, which is national or the Christmas Vacation. So it's
Right.
like, man, he's already on the top of the Christmas charts. He's
Yeah.
everywhere. Like any season you want, he's there, man. It's crazy.
He owns holidays.
Right.
Yeah, he's got a holiday movie for everything except for maybe Halloween, but I'm probably wrong. So
You know, he also did the Miracle on 34th Street remake, which was
Yes,
great.
he
Right,
did. Yeah.
he likes his
All
Christmas.
right. Over to Uncle Tony. What do we got?
So I am going to pull. I'm going to try to get some obscure titles also. So in the early '90s, he helped write 101 Dalmatians. So
Nice.
this was back when Disney was. This is one of the first Disney animated reboots to a live action that did very well. With Glenn Close, she made a excellent Cruella de Vil. This was a really good family movie. I remember me and taking my kids around to McDonald's. They actually released 101 Dalmatians Happy Meal toys. So every week we would go try to get all of the Dalmatians. So I just have a lot of good memories with this with my kids. And so really good family movie.
That's
Yeah.
one I have not seen in a while too. I need to go back and watch that one again.
It's actually one
I've
I've
actually
never
never
seen.
seen that one. I've never
Same,
seen it.
same.
Really?
I've never seen that one.
101 Dalmatians? Oh,
It's
no.
actually
So,
I really only watched it
And I
like
love
once.
Glenn
My
Close.
made me watch it, and it's all right. I like Jeff Daniels. It's got Jeff
I love
Daniels.
Jeff
Yeah,
Daniels.
Jeff Daniels is good.
Who is that? Miranda Richardson
Yes.
or Sister Jolie?
Oh, I forget.
One of the Richardson sisters.
Maybe-
I,
I think it's
I love all the actors in it, but I
I
just
think there's a sequel, 102 Dalmatians, that went very well with it.
I never saw that one.
Yeah, and they're only available on DVD. There's no Blu-ray release
Not even through Disney
here.
or whatever.
Not yet. Hopefully,
Tony
one day.
would have it.
I miss those Happy Meal and Kids Meal tie-ins with movies.
I
It
do
was
too.
Such a good time, man.
They still do it. It's just all Marvel stuff and Mario.
Oh, do they? Okay. Well, at least they do something, and it's not.
Enjoy having a 5-year-old. You get to go get Mario toys at McDonald's every week.
All right, over to Some Kind of Wonder Fish.
All right. Well, I'm also going to try and pull some obscure, underrated classics to me. You guys talked about holidays. He also did a Thanksgiving movie, which is one of my favorite Thanksgiving movies of all time. That doesn't get a whole lot of praise or talk about, but Dutch.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I love Dutch. It's Ed O'Neill, Ethan Embry. It says Ethan Randall up there, but it's Ethan Embry from Can't Hardly Wait. Joe Beth Williams is in this. It's just a great road trip, family movie. It's a lot of fun. It takes place over Thanksgiving. Ed O'Neill goes to pick up his girlfriend's son to bring him home for Thanksgiving. And he's a spoiled brat. He's a pain in the and yeah, it's just a lot of fun. Their antics on this road trip. It's so great. So John Hughes wrote this one and produced it, and this is one of my favorite Thanksgiving movies because there aren't a whole lot out there. So.
Right. Nice.
Yeah, I've never seen that one, so I need to check that one out. But I don't think it was readily available, right? Like you can't just buy it off of Amazon. I don't think it's a rare one, right?
It's not easy to get.
Australian DVD import, and this is the only way you can get it, I believe.
So they do have it on DVD because around Thanksgiving this year, I bought it off of Amazon for $15, and like they kept delaying it, and it was coming after Thanksgiving, and I got mad and just canceled.
Hey, that happened with Home Alone 2 for me. They kept delaying it after Christmas. I'm like, well, I don't want it now. I'm like, I got videos to make. This needs to be timely.
Yeah, it's funny because I really want it now. So
if you don't mind that this case is broken, and this, well, I mean, that's the paper, the artwork is a little torn where it's broken. If you don't mind that, I'll send this to you.
Yeah, I can always switch out the case.
And if you don't mind that they didn't get the actor's name correct, you know.
I think he might have been going by Ethan Randall at the time, but
he was just Ethan Randall when he was a kid. Yeah.
He's also in Vegas Vacation too, right?
Yep.
Yes.
When he was Ethan Randall. Yep.
Yeah.
And I have a quick question.
But yeah, if you don't mind, I'll send that to you.
Because I never thought about it. Are DVDs region locked at all, or is that just Blu-rays?
Yes, they are definitely.
Yeah,
locked.
so would that play on American?
This is an all
region. Okay.
This one's good.
Nice.
All right.
1 and 2
Movies
instead of
and 2. What do we got?
Okay,
I know what you're gonna pick.
I'm going obvious. I'm not going obscure because this is in my top 10 movies of all time, and it's The Breakfast Club, man. I had to pull The Breakfast Club before anyone else because I love this movie so much. I've seen it so many times, and it just really has an effect on you. It's so emotional. It starts off, with those comedic tones and snarky comebacks from Judd Nelson, but it turns really serious, and the kids start talking about their home lives, how everything is not perfect. And I mean, at this time when this movie came out, you didn't really talk about that kind of stuff. At least we didn't, like the people that I knew didn't really talk about their home lives. So for them to be sharing that was really personal and out in the open and just really refreshing and brave and honest. And it's one of the reasons why I love this movie so much. So Breakfast Club.
Yep, that's a good pick.
Yeah, I definitely knew you were gonna pick that one. I'm like, should I go grab my Blu-ray Steelbook? I'm like, nah.
You're like, nah, Stu's got it covered.
I think The Breakfast Club is one of the most important movies ever made.
It is
so good. Like how John Hughes was able to understand teenagers and how they talk and their emotions and their feelings. Like when they get into that like circle and their group and they're just venting to each other, and then they get connect. They're also different because they have their different groups in high school, but for that moment they're all like friends and connected. I mean, oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was like the brilliancy of his writing, because when they're in that circle, they're all like you were saying, they're all sharing things about themselves, and then like that, the tone just completely shifts into a different direction, and two of them are mad at each other and they're fighting, and that's just where he was so brilliant.
And the principal is pretty funny too with the janitor. Like their conversations are really good. And then just how the movie ends with the "Don't you forget about" with the hand. Oh my goodness,
it's iconic. It's one of those moments that you remember always.
Oh yeah, and then the dancing sequences on the desk. I mean, so many iconic scenes. So good.
Oh yeah, I mean, to be able to physically embody each of these actors, to embody each of those stereotypes of the clique or whichever one they were a part of, was fantastic. Each of these, they were casted wonderfully. Molly Ringwald, Ali Seeding, Anthony Michael Hall, Emilio Estevez, and Judd Nelson, they were all fantastic in this. Yeah. The beginning of the Rat Pack kind of sort of, yeah.
And when you're in high school, you always think that you're the only one that has issues, but then you with this movie, you can see that everybody has their own issues and their own family type of trauma.
Right. Well, like Sue said, back then you didn't talk about those things. I remember, you never talked about what went on at home behind the scenes. Everybody had to put on this little facade of everything's okay, but you know, we knew what was going on because it was our home. But you know, it's like, yeah.
I will say, detention was never coming of life or coming of age for me. I'd be sitting there, and be like, "There's nothing like a breakfast
Not
club."
that well, not that cool.
Get in trouble for dancing on the table.
I know they had a good time.
Yeah,
they became friends. Like some of them, you know, met their girlfriends and like mates in there. I mean, by the end of it, like it worked out pretty good for everybody. So like a blessing in disguise for them.
Yeah, I just had to do my homework.
You know, it's all good.
All right, Curly Dude, what do we got?
All right, so like I said earlier, I just want to before people get upset, I am pulling titles that I don't think other people are going to be pulling, movies that I like that have John Hughes attached to them. So my first one is going to be the last movie he had, or the last movie he wrote, and the last movie he was alive for when it was made. It is Drill Bit Taylor.
Yeah.
This is such a good movie. It's about a group of kids who get bullied in high school. So they hire this homeless guy, Owen Wilson, to be their bodyguard. It's a really funny movie, and I highly recommend it. And knowing that it's John Hughes' last movie, it shares that special place in my heart. So I like to revisit it once in a while, and it's funny as well. So
yeah, I've never seen that.
Oh, you guys gotta see it. It is so good. I watched that movie first on an airplane, you know, when they like would just pick a movie and everybody had to watch the same thing.
Yeah.
But it was so good. I was laughing hysterically, and people are like looking at me on the plane, like, "What is wrong with them?" I should know that John Hughes had something to do with it, because I'm like, you know what? This movie is way better than I thought it should be. I'm like, come on.
Well, see, now I'm definitely going to check it out because it's John Hughes adjacent. So yeah. Because at first, I mean, I saw that, and you know, I enjoy Owen Wilson, but he's not one of my favorites. I like have to run out and go see. But I'll definitely check it out now. But
yeah, it says I think it's 2008, and I think he died in 2009. So
yeah,
yeah, and of course, if you're looking for his name, John Hughes, on here, it's not on here. It's under Esmond Dante.
Yeah, I never saw that when it came out, but yeah, I didn't know it was John Hughes either. But that's the only thing that makes me even interested in it. And I like Owen Wilson; he's good.
Yeah, I like Owen Wilson too.
He's grown on me over the years. Yes.
All right, so of course, the best John Hughes movie of all time, no doubt in my mind, because it's just one of my favorite comedies of all time that nobody talks about. Career Opportunities. Got to put some respect on this one. This movie is hilarious. I remember watching it on TV. I just turned it on randomly. I'm like, what is this movie? It was so funny. I was laughing nonstop. Frank Whaley here. He is great. I wish he would have done more comedic work. He's in a few other movies, but not a whole lot. He's so good in the movie, and it's such a limited setting. Like, it takes all place mostly in a Target. You're like, what can you do in a Target? Oh, they do a lot of stuff in a Target. It is so funny. You got Jennifer Connelly here, who is great in this movie. I mean, riding the horsey, you don't need to say much else than that, but he's amazing in the movie, of course. But you get John Candy in there too for a scene, and it's a very funny scene as well. So I just think this movie is a total blast. It's a great time. So I love Career Opportunities, but nobody talks about it. Have you all seen this movie? Because I feel like nobody talks about it.
Yes.
Saw it in the theater when it came out.
I love
I have my copy.
Yeah, and I love that's in Target because I love watching movies now and seeing how like stores look like back in the day.
Yeah. So they used to be,
yeah, I can watch like a whole Target commercial in this.
One of my favorite things, and I wish I could do it, is to go skating through Target like they did. You know, just put on some roller skates and just jam out. You know.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, and they're in like a movie section, and it's always cool to like see what's coming out. There's like a sign for like New Kids on the Blocks, new CD or new tape coming out or something. So yeah, it's stuff like that I like.
Mm-hmm.
The situational humor is great. Just how they use everything in the story. He's like making dinner in the store. Like, oh my god. And then I don't know why I thought it was the funniest part of the movie when I first saw it, but he takes the candy real quick, bites it, and then puts it back. Like, it's such a quick 1 second little thing. I don't know why I thought that was the funniest moment of the movie. I'm like, what who would do that? But it's so hilarious. You guys like Career Opportunities too, then? I'm not alone on that one.
Oh no, you're not alone.
I like it too. Yeah.
You're not alone in that. No, not at all.
And that's a great Kino release too.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I need to upgrade. I'm still rocking my DVD here.
Oh yeah, the Blu-ray looks good. Looks
Yeah,
really,
it does.
really good.
Maybe I'll give in on the next sale finally because I haven't seen that one yet. But I love Frank Whaley too, so good.
Yeah, same.
Thanks for giving props to Frank Whaley because he's great.
Oh, he's so good in that movie. So good. All right, let's see who we got in the chat now. We got even more people in here. We got Constance Cherry, Sweet Love to 16 Candles. Absolutely. You know that's going to get cool tonight. Let's see. Mama Blu-ray saying, I became a mom in the 80s. Oh, nice.
Yes, you did.
Yes. Let's see. We got My Killer Podcast. Yes. Look at all these amazing peeps. Tony, I found you. Hey, dude. Nice shirt, my guy. Best shirt. Let's zoom in on that shirt. Wait, let me yeah, everybody needs that shirt right there.
I also got a sticker with it too.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
See, I love seeing that. I love seeing people getting merch with other channels out there. That's so great.
I'm thinking about making my own hat.
Oh yes, get hats. Yes, hats are great. I love hats. Let's see. We got a straight to Blu-ray. The beauty of a John Hughes movie. You can watch it 1,000,000 times and not get tired. True. I love watching my John Hughes movies all the time. Those are probably some of the discs I get the most use out of.
Oh, absolutely.
They never get old, never get boring.
They don't. And I laugh every time.
Me too. I know what's happening. I still laugh.
And you know what? The run time are perfect in their movies. Not too long. So it's like you just come home, it's late at night, you just want a casual, easy, fun watching movie you can actually get through before you fall asleep. Boom, John Hughes movie. There you go.
Right. They're not 2.5 hours long for no reason.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't have to spend a whole day around it.
They're like 90 to 140 or an hour, 45 minutes or something like that.
All right, everybody's saying hello to each other. Ooh, everybody's shouting everybody out. Ooh, we got Anthony's Horror and More. Yes, Dutch Rocks. I'm glad that Fish brought the film up. Yeah, see, I didn't know anything about the movie. I didn't know it was a Thanksgiving movie. So I'm like, I need it now. Hopefully they do a nice Blu-ray eventually.
I think it was like 2019. I was watching like some movie channel and some like Dutch was coming on. I was like, I've never even heard of this movie. And I saw Ed O'Neill's name. I was like, oh, what is this? And then I saw John Hughes' name. I was like, wait, what is this? So and then I had to watch it. I was like, dang, okay. And I was blown away that I've never even heard of it before.
Yeah, I was on cable all the time when I was a kid. I remember watching it a few times.
Yeah. If you can hold out a little bit longer, it's on your way. It's on its way, buddy.
Yeah, Jim saying, yep, it's hard to find streaming or physical.
Yeah, it is.
Straight to Blu-ray says the Breakfast Club Criterion with the 40 minutes of extra footage is gold. See, I didn't even know it had 40 more minutes. That's so tempting.
Yeah, it's got a lot of great special features on it too.
Yeah.
You know what? If they did a 4K of that, ooh, that's definitely very tempting. I don't double dip often, but a 4K of that on Criterion, ooh.
Yeah, there's rumors that John Hughes has a 3-hour cut of all of his movies because he would just let the camera go and let the stars do their job. So you have John Candy just going on for a half an hour. He would record it all.
Oh my God, that's gold.
Yeah, so that's exactly what he would do. So there's like 3-hour versions of all of his movies out there. Like there's an Uncle Buck I know for sure. And there's also and we got a lot of the deleted scenes for the Planes, Trains, and Automobiles that just came out last year.
We watch all those still. Yeah.
See, they have plenty of material. They should just release every John Hughes on 4K. There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Just for
I thought they were gonna do that with their steelbooks, but then they were only like Blu-ray steelbooks.
Yeah, they're Blu-ray.
I don't want to double dip on that. Let's see. Oh, so funny. Jim says Tony once ran a marathon just because it was on the way. Yeah, Constance Sherry saying I did not know that Carrie Sue was his.
Curly Sue.
Curly Sue, yeah.
I'm like, wait, Carrie.
Yeah, Curly, yeah.
That would be a crossover for you, Carrie. You know.
Yeah, it was last movie he directed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 91, right?
Yeah, 91.
You know what? I will say though, because I know there's big fans of it. I only watched it one time, first time last night. I don't know if it was because of the quality. I didn't love it. I liked it. I didn't love it though, but I think it was because like I'm so used to Hughes movies being teenagers and young adults that
Yeah.
have really, young kid and then a
Really
young
me off
kid.
a little bit.
Yeah,
It
well,
threw me
yeah,
off a little
see,
bit.
and I feel like the '90s is where he started getting into the more of the little, like the kid stuff.
The younger.
Yeah.
And
pretty much all his '90s stuff was kids. Yeah.
yeah, and it's also Steve Carell's first movie.
Oh,
He's
really?
like- yeah.
That's
Oh, wow.
I don't
Did
think he
I
has
miss
it.
Steve Carell in it? Steve Carell's in it?
Yes, he's the waiter at the fancy restaurant, or
Ah.
like the not the waiter, but the guy who the door, like the guy.
Maker D.
The
Yeah, the guy.
concierge,
Yeah,
or-
concierge. Yeah, the guy who's
Mm,
you
I
go up
totally
and do a
missed
ticket
it.
for one. Yeah, I don't think he has any lines, and if he does, it's very quick. But yeah, it's his
Mike's
first
gonna
movie.
rewatch it now.
I know. Well, I mean, I'll rewatch it because, like I said, to me, I don't think there's a bad Hughes movie. Like they're all good to great. So
Agreed.
Curly Sue was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that when I saw it. I saw it in the
Yeah.
theater when I was younger.
I haven't watched that one in a really long time. It's been
It
at
was
least
awesome.
a
Allison
decade.
Potter actually came back and has a great singing voice. She came back and did the voice, and I think she won the season she was on.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And fun fact, Sue was named after her.
False.
Actually, the movie was named
Not
after-
true.
And I know it's
Can we get confirmation? Mama Blu-ray.
John saying, "Good one, Mike." Let's say everybody's saying hello. Oh, Darvin's in the house. Hey, Darvin.
Darvin. Hey, Darvin.
We got Time Movie Database. Hey, everyone.
Ty.
Hey, Ty.
Let's see. Side Hustle Cinema saying everyone should check out National Lampoon's Class Reunion, written by John Hughes. Great comedy horror. The Kino Lorber edition is OOP. I didn't even know Kino Lorber had that one, so I
I
need
was
to
looking
get
at
that
that
one
online
for sure.
today. I was like, oh yeah, this movie exists.
What year was that? Like 80s, 90s?
It was his
That's
first
old.
one, right? Isn't that his first credited
Oh,
movie?
okay.
I
Oh,
think that was
it
his
is.
first movie, maybe. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why. I
So maybe
looked
even
at it.
70s. Oh, okay.
79, maybe. Post Animal House.
All right, Derek. We are now going to get into our second John
Love
Hughes
those.
recommendation.
I probably didn't even see this movie until at least all the way through until 4 or 5 years ago, maybe. But it's hilarious, and it stars two of the best comedy film TV stars. Well, anything they do, they're amazing. And that's Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. The other Thanksgiving movie that John Hughes made that I thought Fish was about to mention, so I was like, yeah. This 4K, it's it is what it is, but it has a lot of cool special features, so that's nice. But Steve Martin's a genius. I love The Jerk. We all know this. And John Candy, honestly, like looking through this, it just made me really miss John Candy more than anything.
Right.
Because everything I watched had John Candy in it. I'm like, I want John Candy. That's so sad that he died so young. And he was like one of the best, sweetest guys like ever to live. And he's amazing in everything he did, even in the the 1 or 2 scenes he's in Home Alone. He's just like a bright spot in anything he would touch. He's like Midas. Whatever he touched, it became gold. That's what John Candy was. So
Yeah, and John Hughes used him a lot in his films.
A lot.
Yeah.
I miss John Candy, I guess. That's all I gotta say. But yeah, Planes,
Well,
Trains,
I
and
believe
Automobiles is
he-
probably the
I believe
funniest
he
movie ever.
I believe John Candy, his little bit in Home Alone, he actually did that for free.
You're right.
He didn't get
Yeah,
paid
I
for
heard
that.
that.
He just
Yeah,
wanted to
yeah.
be part of the movie or something. And I believe everything between him and Catherine O'Hara was improvised.
Yeah, he was there for like
It
24
wasn't
hours.
script written, which is so brilliant. It's just so good.
Yeah, they're like best friends too, him and Catherine O'Hara.
Yeah.
So that's even more adorable.
Second City family.
Yeah, Second
Second
City.
City. Yep.
Yep, Canadian.
Yeah.
Bond. Yep.
That Canadian SNL.
Yep.
Or no, that's not Second City. It's
Second
It's-
City Television.
SCTV. Yeah,
okay.
Second City.
okay. I thought Second City was in Illinois.
There's one there too.
Oh, is it? Okay, okay.
There's one in Chicago.
Yeah,
and there's
one in
in
Chicago.
Canada, the original one, I think.
All right, Uncle Tony, what do we got?
Okay, I'm going to go back to 1993 when my kids were little. We have Dennis the Menace.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
if you think about it, so Dennis the Menace started out as a newspaper comic strip, and then my generation back in the 70s had a little cartoon. So I was very surprised that this actually reached an audience in 1993, but it did. My kids loved this movie. Just little hijinks things that was going on. We got Walter Matthau. and this little boy. I can't remember his name, but just a really fun movie, a good family movie. And yeah, John Hughes was involved with that. He's one of the writers.
So that was going to be my number one pick too, and I have this poster here.
Oh, look at that! Let's see that.
Autograph.
It's signed by Nick. It's signed by Nick Castle, and I don't know if you guys know this, but Nick Castle directed this.
Directed that.
And Nick Castle is also the first Michael Myers.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So he directed this and Major Pain. So, but yeah,
So did they provide that poster when you got the autograph, or did you just have that poster?
So you bring your own stuff. He didn't have any. When I met him, he didn't have any. Dennis the Menace stuff. He had like one Major Pain picture, but that is something I just bought on eBay.
Okay.
Nice.
I had no idea he directed those movies. You're like blowing my mind right now. I'm like, what? Those movies are amazing.
Starfighter too, right?
Yeah, Last Starfighter. Yeah, and because I got to go to his panel and I asked him a question about how it was like working with John Hughes, and he said it was absolutely amazing working with John Hughes, and he said it was a good payday working for John Hughes.
Oh, but yeah.
Yeah, that's another movie I need to go back and rewatch again. I only remember seeing it, I think, one time, but I remember that plant scene where it's like they waited all these years to see the plant, and then they get distracted and turn around. And
it's such. I had the biggest crush when, like, around that time. I had the biggest crush on Leah Thompson, which is the mom. So I was just like, I watched it for her most of the time when I was a little kid. but yeah, she was great. It's and Christopher Lloyd as the villain. Like he freaked me out. Like I was like I felt. I was scared. I was like, this guy's gonna kidnap some kids. And whenever Mel talks about her train or whatever, I just pictured those kind of characters jumping off those trains around the house.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in almost 30 years. It's crazy.
Great movie.
I didn't know it was a Warner Brothers movie. What Warner Brothers needs to do is release these movies in a collection, like Universal did with their movies. Like, let's get a Warner collection of John Hughes titles. That would be amazing.
Or even just the kid-friendly type movies, like the Little Rascals, all that stuff in a little family pack.
Early Sue.
Early Sue.
I have Little Rascals on Blu-ray.
Nice.
So
back in the day when they made every TV show into a movie, back when that was the thing they did in the 90s.
Did you watch the old black and white, Tony? You watched the old black and white with Jay Norris, right? Yeah.
They did it well in the 90s though. Like when they made like the Beverly Hillbillies and
the Brady Bunch.
The Brady Bunch is hilarious.
Family, especially
bringing all those Nick at Night. Yeah.
Like
the Avengers.
They did it well.
They
mostly did it well in the 90s.
Yeah.
All right, Fish. What do we got?
All right. Well, my next one is written by John Hughes. I love this movie so much. It's about a young man who is about to graduate high school, and his father is pushing him one way, and he's wanting to go another, and he's after the girl of his dreams, and has a rocking best friend. And it is Some Kind of Wonderful. I love this movie so much. It's so good. All three of these leads, Mary Stuart Masterson, Eric Stoltz, Leah Thompson, are fantastic in this. Everybody's from the wrong side of the tracks, but she got in on the other side and made her way through. And I love this quote on the back: "You look good wearing my future." That's, it's so sweet, but, and then, I spoilers, but everything works out at the end for everyone, somewhat. But yeah, because Leah Thompson's character finds her own strength in herself and feels that she can be, somebody without being popular or having to be part of the clique. And then, so Eric Stoltz figured out what he actually wants. And Mary Stuart Masterson gets what she wants. So, such a wonderful movie. Great soundtrack, too. Fantastic soundtrack.
Yes.
Yeah. And Leah Thompson's husband directed this movie, Howard Deutsch. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
She is Some Kind of Wonderful. I'll tell you that.
Yes, she is. Oh, that painting was so good.
And the chalk drawing. There was the black charcoal.
Yeah, the charcoal. Yeah.
That was nice too.
Oh yeah.
And a great point, Fish, that you brought up about how the ending, it works out. It works out for everybody. And that's what I miss about having John Hughes movies, because he was so good at writing in a way you believed it. It was so organic. You totally believe where everybody went. The directions made sense. We don't really get those kind of happy endings anymore that really make sense. So that's something I miss.
The realistic happy endings.
Yes,
Right.
the realistic happy. If we do get happy endings, it's like, really? I don't know if I
Not
buy
the one where people see the movie and complain about how bad it is, and then they fix the ending later.
Like, if it was a stereotypical, it would have been Eric Stoltz and Leah Thompson that ended up together, but it's not. So
yeah.
Yeah, you know what? It kind of reminds me of like Rocky movies in that way. Like you don't know how it's gonna play out. Like you don't know how the match is gonna play out. Same kind of like it keeps you guessing, which makes it more interesting. You don't predict the plot right away on your first time viewing. So
I was gonna say, well, they threw you off in the first one. You're like it's Rocky, and you think he's gonna win, and so you're like, oh, well, I got to pay attention. So he's not gonna win. Is he gonna win? Yeah.
All right, over to Sue. What do we got?
Okay, so my first choice was more on the serious side. There was comedic elements, but more on the serious side. This time I'm choosing a comedy, and I'm going Chevy Chase, and I know you're all going to think it's this one. It's not this one. So if anyone else wants to snag it, you can. I'm going with Vacation. National Lampoon's Vacation, and we are getting the 4K in a couple of weeks. Very excited about that. I love this movie. It is so hilarious. I've seen it so many times. I still laugh every single time. It's just a great laugh from your gut comedy, and we really don't get a lot of those these days because we have to be so careful with how we present comedy these days. And back at this time, it was anything goes pretty much. And that's what I miss a lot about comedy these days. So you can't go wrong with National Lampoon's Vacation. So there we go.
Oh
yeah. I still haven't seen that one, so I'm excited for the 4K.
It's so good.
My first
viewing. I've never owned it, so I want to definitely get that limited edition like slip box thing.
Oh, they all look so nice too.
They all look good.
On it? Are you triple dipping on all of them?
Because
I'm like, they all look so cool.
But it's a good movie. Yeah, back when comedies were funny, the good old days.
Oh yeah. I mean, like you said, you couldn't get away with some of the stuff that they do now, or
did back then.
I mean, just the whole incident with tying the dog to the car.
Say no more.
Anymore. You'd have animal rights groups all over you, but that's one of the funniest parts of the movie.
Hell yeah.
I had my dead grandma on the roof of my car once, and I got pulled over.
Yeah, I can't wait to see those vacation movies because I've only seen Christmas Vacation, and I literally watched that one like 2 years ago. So I got to see all the rest of them.
You're gonna love it, especially in 4K. It's probably gonna look great.
Oh, yeah. Christmas Vacation was great, so I'm like, ooh, yes, I'm excited.
You get John Candy in the first one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As needed.
All right, dude. What do we got?
There whenever you need him.
So my second one is going to be 1994's Baby's Day Out.
Nice.
This is such like, even as a grown man, I watch this and it's like gut laughing. This is such a funny movie. And if you guys haven't seen it, it's a group of criminals kidnap this baby out of this rich family, and they want to hold him up for ransom. They want to get money from this family, and they underestimate this little baby, and this little baby goes all over town causing all this havoc for these three guys, and it is just hilarious. And it's so funny. It has Joey Pants. He's one of the guys, and you got the voice of Fat Tony from The Simpsons, and then you got Spike's dad from Little Giants. Spike Don't Play with No Girls. So great movie, guys. Check it out if you have not seen it. Yep. And it's written and produced by John Hughes.
Yeah,
it's got that Home Alone type feel about it too.
But it's just it's so funny. It's like
so good. Yeah, you're bringing back those memories for me. I remember watching that one on repeat at my grandma's house like all the time, nonstop as a kid. I'm like,
I got this on I remember getting this on VHS for Easter one year. Waking up one Sunday morning, it was in my Easter basket. So
nice.
Yeah,
I haven't watched it since it came out on VHS, so it's been a minute. Well, my wife loves it. You're picking all my wife's favorites. It's great. They're none of mine besides Home Alone.
All right, so going with my second recommendation here. I didn't think I was going to pick this one, but on another rewatch, I just loved it so much, and it's out of my collection. So the one I'm going to go with is She's Having a Baby. This movie is so good. He captures like a newlywed couple perfectly, especially like me being a newlywed couple, like the first year of marriage here. Wow, like all the emotions, like all, the conflict and everything. I'm like, oh my goodness, like this is like deja vu right now. But it is great. I love the movie. And it ends well too, right? With, she's having a baby. It says in the title. So it ends perfectly too. Like the dreamlike sequences are really cool too. Like when they're dancing with the lawnmowers and stuff in the front yards and all that. That's kind of a cool random like musical sequence in a way. So I really like this one. I thought it was really good. So I like it more every time I watch it. I know, Tony, you recently rewatched it again, right?
I did, yeah. I love that one. I was newly married in the early '90s when that came out. But great soundtrack, great performances. We love Kevin Bacon.
Oh, so good.
So yeah, great film.
Oh yeah, Elizabeth McGovern is so sweet in that movie too.
Yeah.
She's adorable. I wish she would have done more with her, or her career would have taken off a little bit more. But yeah, fantastic movie. I agree. One of my favorites as well. Like I said, great soundtrack. Kate Bush at the end with A Woman's Worth. Tears every time I hear it, even still to this day.
I got to rewatch it. It's been a while since I've seen it.
And they tie it into Trains, Planes, and Automobile with Kevin Bacon in the beginning.
Really?
Kevin Bacon's trying to get the trying to get a cab. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Because they filmed like almost like back to back kind of.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
I totally did not make that connection, but it makes sense now. Yeah.
Well, so
that was a funny moment though, for sure.
Yeah, well, I saw it. I was like, why the hell is Kevin Bacon in this in such a small part? And then I later on found out
that's cool.
Why. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So he was doing multiverses before it was before
it was popular.
Well, John Hughes universe, Shermer, Illinois verse. Yeah.
The John Hughes verse.
The John Hughes verse. Yeah, exactly.
The more you learn about John Hughes, the more you think about him. It's like the better he gets. Like
the more amazing he is. Yes.
Universe.
I knew all my John Hughes facts would come in handy someday.
Right. I got a comment about Elizabeth McGovern Fish.
Yes.
Did you watch Downton Abbey?
I have not seen Downton Abbey.
Oh, she's a big part of it.
Okay, well then I'm in then. Okay.
Well, her career is still thriving.
Still going, still wonderful. That's fantastic. I'm so glad to hear that because she's adorable. I loved her back in the 80s, 90s. Yeah.
Nice.
I hold a grudge against that.
Well, now I have to watch Downton Abbey, which I love.
Put it on your list.
You'll like it. I think you'll like it.
I think I will too, because I love English drama and English anything. So.
Yeah, you get a couple of Downton Abbey movies, right? They have 2 movies now.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
And they're easy to watch. They're easy to watch.
I used to call it Downtown Abbey for about 10 years.
Oh, I thought it was that way too.
That's what I thought it was for the longest time. I was like, "There's no W."
And I should have been watching it for Miss Dame Maggie Smith anyway. So,
right?
Yeah.
All right, we got Side Hustle saying 82. So 1982 was that class reunion movie.
Okay.
The first one. Craig saying Some Kind of Wonderful is a good comedy romance movie. Yep, I'm telling you, Hughes. He knew the romantic comedy so well. Yeah.
So well.
I know, because sometimes they mess up on romantic comedies. It's like, okay, it's not really comedic. It's not that funny, or it's not that great on the romance. You don't buy the chemistry. Hughes always nailed it on everything. The romance, the comedy, perfect.
Yeah.
Because the comedy was subtle. It wasn't like over the top in his romance comedies. Yeah. That's why I enjoy him a little bit more.
Cinema Man saying 16 Candles doesn't have a steelbook yet, but all his other popular movies does. That's a head scratcher. But it does have that nice release, right? Isn't that Arrow release too? I know you got that one, right?
Yeah, the Arrow one.
Yes, I do.
It's got a digibook, though.
Oh, it got some love right there. Look at that.
Yeah, Tony's got the
I
digibook.
love this Arrow slipcover. I love it.
Yeah, both of them.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 16 Candles definitely got a lot of love.
Because it's only $11.
Yeah, I wonder why they didn't continue with the still books, because like they were going on a roll and then it's like they just stopped.
They just stopped, yeah.
I wonder if it's because like Planes and Trains and Automobiles, the 4K, they got, lashback on that with not everybody loving it. I don't know.
Different companies, so I don't know.
Well, we are getting Vacation, so maybe they'll continue. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
Let's see. We got Side Hustle saying National Lampoon's Vacation 83 was based on the article Vacation 58 written by John Hughes, and it was featured in September 1979 issue of National Lampoon magazine. See, I didn't even know National Lampoon was a magazine. See, I love these streams.
Yeah, there's actually a pretty decent movie on Netflix about it. Actually, I can't remember the name of it to save my life, but had Will Forte.
Did it originate out of Harvard or something like that? Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was up around there. Yeah. I remember reading up on
It was
that.
like Harold Ramis was one of the guys who started it, and a bunch of other guys. Yeah.
So I wonder, and you guys can kind of educate me on this one. So why they attach the National Lampoon's name? So it's a company. Do they heavily produce the movies then that have National?
They did. They do not anymore. It's just a name that they. So like toward like in like the mid 2000s, where you go to the like Hollywood Video and you saw National Lampoon's presents Big Ball Sandy or like something weird like that. That had nothing to do with National Lampoon's because they just kind of sold their name. So anybody like I could have rented out or I could have like took the name just for my movie, just for that.
See, we got to do that. We all got to make a movie together now. There we go. We'll use that name and we'll make money.
Because like you would go to the comedy section and see 50 new movies with the National Lampoon's name, but it was not National Lampoon's quality.
Right.
Yeah, it's something to put on your title to make it appeal to people.
But I don't think they do that anymore.
I haven't seen anything new with that. No, so when y'all were alphabetizing on your shelf, where do you put Vacation or Christmas Vacation? Do you do it with the C or a V, or do you put it with the National N?
Mine's with the National.
I put mine with the National. Yeah.
Yeah.
I put them all together, but with Vacation. So
all the vacations grouped together.
That makes sense.
Yeah, see, I do mine by genre, so it's in my Christmas section.
I got the set, so they're all ready to get
nice. You got the set.
That's 4.
All 4.
Oh, that's great.
Wow. Vegas Vacation is so good.
It's really nice. Yeah, it's a nice little box. Yeah,
cool. I like that set.
I think my sister has that set actually.
All right, Spicy 4K Action saying Baby's Day Out is so good. Haven't seen it in years. Great pool. Cinema Man says, I love the nurse that showed up at the door in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I wish a nurse like that came to my door to restore. Oh my goodness. Jim Powers. Tony once parallel parked a train. That's impressive.
Wow.
Let's see. Side Hustle said Tony once shot an enemy plane down with his finger by yelling bang. All right, so we are now on to our third John Hughes recommendation. All right, Derek, what do we got?
Yeah, Home Alone is probably the one I watched the most, but this is the one I probably liked the most as a child. And this was written by Mr. Hughes, I believe. I don't know if he produced it or he produced it and wrote it. It is The Great Outdoors. Once again with John Candy, because I miss John Candy. He's amazing. And Dan Aykroyd is also amazing. This was Annette Bening's first movie, which is weird to think of it that way. But yeah, I'm in Minnesota, so I go up north and go to the cabin and we go to the Great Outdoors. So that's kind of what it reminds me of. So it reminds me of home when I watch it. Whenever I go to my dad's cabin, we have to watch Great Outdoors at some point. And it's always funny. You got the raccoons eating the garbage. You got the old 90s Sixer, which always makes you hungry, even with the maggots on it. But yeah, it's just one of my favorite 80s comedies. And John Hughes, of course, just happened to write it. And it definitely feels like we were saying before, a John Hughes movie. He's got the teenage son with the, the crush on the local girl, which just screams John Hughes, even if the John Candy, Dan Aykroyd stuff doesn't. The stuff with the kids is like, oh, this is a John Hughes movie. But yeah, I love Great Outdoors. It's always been my favorite.
Did you guys ever watch Camp Candy, like the
No.
cartoon?
Cartoon, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. He played the voice of Camp Candy. He was a counselor, but in the beginning and the end, he would bookmark them like it would be him in real life, and he would just like introduce the show, and then after he would, oh, that show, recycle, get kids kind of thing. But it was a great show, but it ended when I was like really young. So, and they didn't really play a lot of reruns, but it was a good show, Camp Candy.
Nice. It was like Fat Albert then with Bill Cosby. He kind of did the same thing.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
And like Bobby's World, yeah.
Yeah, I love Bobby's World.
Or Life with Louie. It was a lot like Life with Louie.
Amazing.
I'm like so lost. I'm like, TV shows. I do not know these TV shows.
We're all reminiscing right now. We're all thinking about these.
These are all great cartoons.
But The Great Outdoors is really fun. I just watched it for the first time with picking up that Blu-ray, Derek, and the raccoon scenes are the best parts. Oh my goodness.
They're really fun.
But
It's
kind
one
of
of the
jarring
first
at first,
in-credit.
though. Was that Fish?
I was going to say it's one of the first end credit. If you stick around long enough, there's an end credit with the raccoons.
Oh, that's right. Yep. Yeah, the post-credit scene or whatever with the raccoon.
Yeah.
See, there you go. He did post-credit scenes too. Multiverse, post-credit, everything.
Marvel who? Marvel what?
See,
Marvel
stole from John Hughes.
The MC universe.
All right, over to Tony.
Okay, so my next choice is another family movie from 1992, and that is Beethoven. John Hughes helped write this. It's a good family movie again. The family wanted the dog. They loved the dog, but the dad did not like the dog, which caused different kind of adventures to happen. Just another great, heartwarming family animal movie. So, yeah.
I love that movie.
So John Hughes was not only good at teenagers, but he was good with the kids' movies. John
I haven't
Hughes.
seen that in forever, that one.
I used to watch that constantly in my grandma's house. I had that on my list, but I don't own it yet, sadly. So otherwise, that was going to be my number 3 if I owned it.
Yeah, because it was so good.
I haven't watched that forever.
Yeah, have they done any sequels to Beethoven? I feel like they have.
Yeah. They've done a lot.
Yeah, right there.
I have the poster up right there.
Yeah.
I have Beethoven 2 up.
That one's actually good. Beethoven 2 is good.
Beethoven 2 is my favorite growing up.
It's really good.
But yeah, I think there are 6 of them. And 3 was all right with Judge Reinhold, but I haven't seen anything after.
Yeah, I want to say there's 7, actually. Just by happenstance. I think the Nostalgia Critic or whatever, if you guys watch him at all.
So is it called Beethoven's Litter? Is the box set?
I don't know.
Yeah, it should be. He just did a video about Beethoven. He's like, "Oh, there's 7 of these things."
No, so what bothers me in the Beethoven series is in the 3rd one they go like for some reason the Newtons can't watch Beethoven, so they give him to his brother, which is Judge Reinhold, so he is able to watch him while they go do whatever they need to do. And anyways, by the end of the movie, they're like, "Oh, so and so said that we can keep Beethoven." I was like, no. The Newtons would not do that. They would not just give up their dog like that. So I was done with the series. I was like, that's blasphemy.
The 13-year-old Saint Bernard, you can have him.
All right, over to Fish. What we got?
Okay, well, I thought Uncle Tony was going to pull it, but since he didn't, I will go ahead and pull the one that I watched, I think, over and over and over the most, and it is Uncle Buck. I love this movie. John Candy is fantastic in this. Macaulay Culkin, you first meet him. Oh my gosh, Gabby Hoffman, she's adorable too. Nobody talks about Gabby Hoffman in this movie. She is so cute as Maisie in this. Fantastic uncle taking control, getting the house back together, getting family back together. So good. I love this movie so much. Fantastic. The birthday party scene with well, he talks about the toast, but he's making the pancakes, and when you first see it, you're like, what is he doing? And he gets the the snow shovel out, and he's flips it over, and you're like, oh my god, that's a pancake. you know, and you see when they run downstairs and look at it, you see the sausage and stuff sitting off to the side, big old pat of butter, and man, so good, so good. And yeah, oh, my favorite scene is when he has the conversation with the principal. You know, flips the recorder and go downtown and have a rat and all that thing off your face.
Yeah.
Oh, so good, so perfect. Yeah, John Candy, fantastic in this movie. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful movie. So that's my.
Yep,
I got the two-pack thing with Fletch here for some reason.
Oh, I got the same one, Derek. I got the same one. I'm like, wait,
the general.
Is Fletch a Hughes title too? I'm like, I don't think so, but.
Let's just think it's funny. It's like, why don't you make Fletch and Fletch 2 a 2-pack? It's like, what's wrong with you?
Right.
And I always laugh at Uncle Buck when Macaulay Culkin's like, he doesn't like the neighbor's dog because it's a crotch sniffer. I don't know why.
Ball sniffer.
What?
The dog's a ball sniffer.
A ball sniffer, yeah. It's like, oh, kids' movies back then.
Yeah, that was my next one. If anyone took my top 3, I love that was great.
Yeah, that was one. That's one I can quote left, right, upside down, back and forth. It's so good. It's so good. Yeah.
Tony keeps taking mine.
And I try to keep them all obscure, but you know.
All right, Sue, what do we got?
Okay, so I gotta go romance because as we know, John Hughes was so great at romance between teenagers. This was very difficult because it came down to both Molly Ringwald's 16 Candles or Pretty in Pink. But I'm going with Pretty in Pink because I believe out of the two, I've watched Pretty in Pink the most. And I had the biggest crush on Andrew McCarthy back in the day. So that was the reason why Pretty in Pink was always on repeat. But this one is just so good. I mean, it's relatable with Molly Ringwald's character because she's from the opposite side of the tracks and she doesn't have a lot of money. Growing up, we didn't have a lot of money at that time. So I could understand how that was completely. And even though I was younger at this time, but I could still relate to what she was going through and what she was feeling, the embarrassment. And I've always loved, for some reason, with love and romance stories, people coming together from opposite sides of the tracks because he's the rich boy and, you know, she's, you know, not so rich. And I've always loved stories like that. It's kind of like love conquers all. And it really does in the end because they do get together in the end. So I just love it. I think it's a perfect, like, little teenage high school romance story. So I love Pretty in Pink.
Yeah.
Oh, and Ducky, played by John Cryer, is so good in that movie.
I love John Cryer as Ducky. He's so good.
Yeah.
So good. Like when he's like lip singing in the record store with the
Oh
music.
yes, that's the best.
I prefer Pretty in Pink over 16 Candles. They're both great, but I prefer Pretty in Pink.
It's never for me. They're both so good.
Never actually seen this.
Really?
I've seen
Oh my gosh!
I've never sat down and actually watched it.
Watch it.
I know. I just recently got the steelbook, so I will.
Is that still wrapped in plastic? Rip that off.
Yes, it is.
It makes you feel any better. I haven't seen either of them, Fish. So
Wow.
Well, because I don't have my hard case ready. I need to buy some more hard cases for my steelbooks. So that's why it's kind of off to the side, very protected off. Yeah, I pulled it out for this stream, but yeah, I haven't seen this yet. But
that's it. You're watching it tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Half it. So good.
But yes, I had a big crush on Andrew McCarthy too, but it wasn't for this movie. It was St. Elmo's Fire and Weekend at Bernie's.
I was going to say Weekend at Bernie's as a joke, but okay.
All right, what do we got?
All right, so my pick for my last one, since mine have been taken so far, I'm going to go with Curly Sue. So this is about a drifter and this little girl, homeless girl. They kind of con people and they get money off of them. So like Jim Belushi, right? Jim Belushi or John Belushi? I can't remember. Jim. Yeah. According to Jim. Yeah. So Jim Belushi, he like jumps in front of this car to make it look like he got hit. And so for some reason he has to stay at so he's getting taken care of at this house. And then like this little girl starts to, like, she wants to be a little girl. She doesn't want to be this drifter anymore. And there's all kinds of great stuff in it. It's a good movie. It's not like a knee slapper comedy. There is a lot of heart to it, but it's a really good movie. I highly recommend it. Like I said, John Hughes' last directed movie, but it's a great movie. I definitely recommend it, especially watching it during like maybe the holidays. It's a good holiday movie. Or cold weather movie, I guess. I don't know.
I agree. I love that movie so much. I saw that in theater. It was so good.
Yeah.
She was so adorable. Yeah. For the Sue.
All right. So now what to choose? Not all the obvious ones were picked, so I'm like torn between two of them right now. But I guess we'll go back to the collection here, and we will go with Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I'm surprised no one picked this one. The movie is hilarious. I mean, Ferris Bueller is perfect. He doesn't really change by the end of the movie, but he's just comedic gold. He is the coolest person ever. You're like, oh my goodness. He's just awesome. So I really like this movie. I mean, it's the perfect, when you're sick from work kind of movie to just you turn on Ferris Bueller's Day Off and you're just imagining that world he's in. Oh, when they get to like the parade dancing, singing sequence towards, that part is phenomenal. But you know who has a good character arc in the movie? The friend. I'm forgetting the friend's name.
Cameron.
But all the,
Cameron.
Cameron.
Yeah, Cameron.
That whole moment with, the dad's car and all of that, and just getting to that realization that, he does have to like keep trying to please him and all that stuff. Oh, such a powerful emotional scene. So overall, super fun movie. And you have the running through the backyard that of course gets, replicated so much now with that music. So iconic. Oh, it's so fun. Such a good movie. Yeah.
He's a real righteous dude.
Yeah. Oh, she's great too. I forgot that actress's name, but she appears in a few John.
She's in a few of his movies. Yeah.
Plane, Trains,
Edie McClure.
Yep. She was the annoying one at the rent-a-car.
Oh yeah, like with the Mm-hmm.
And she's also
Edie McClure. She's fantastic. She was great.
Yeah, I think she was a voice of like the assistant principal in a Goofy movie as well.
Oh yeah, she is.
Yeah,
she's having a baby. She's one of the
one of the neighbors.
Yeah,
so good.
I don't know if anybody remembers this Small Wonder 80s TV show back in the day.
Yes.
She was a nosy neighbor in
I
that
love
too.
Small Wonder.
That's like
I would watch it every morning before school.
Right? Yeah.
Like 7:30 in the morning.
That's fun.
Oh yeah.
All right, we got AJ's movie place. Yes,
AJ.
hello AJ.
Hey Jay.
We got Corey saying Beethoven is a good one. I always seem to like Charles Grodin.
Charles Grodin was great.
Yeah, he was good.
We got Born to Be Rad. Hey everyone, love me some Hughes.
Hey Garrett.
Nat with The Hatchet is killer. Laugh out loud a little off the kneecap.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, this was a great one. Jim Powers. Yeah, the clown showing up drunk to the kids' party was all the time.
Get back in your mouse and get out of here.
Cinema Man. John Candy killed the old 96er in The Great Outdoor.
Except for all the grizzle and fat.
I was gonna say he's not done yet. Ain't nothing but gristle and fat on there.
It always makes me hungry for steak.
Oh yeah.
Born to Be Rad. There's a popular restaurant near me called Uncle Tony's Pizzeria.
I could eat some pizza right now.
You're famous, Uncle Tony. Let's see. Side Hustle saying in Pretty in Pink, when Ducky gets thrown into the girl's bathroom, he says regarding the tampon machine, we don't have a candy machine in the boys' room. That line was ad-lib. But I'm telling you, John Cryer is so good. He doesn't get enough, appreciation. Like, I watched 2.5 Men for John Cryer. I'm like, Charlie,
he's fantastic.
Yeah. I think John Cryer steals the show every time. I'm like, he's so funny. But yeah, that was a great moment.
You gotta have your straight man do your off the wall comedy with Charlie Sheen. You gotta have that. You gotta have that guy to bring it back down to earth and make it a little serious, but still bring it.
The dry comedy.
Yes, exactly, and that's my favorite kind of comedy.
Yeah, sarcasm and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that bathroom scene is great. That is so funny because, like, you would assume, like, oh, okay, he'll be super embarrassed. He'll run out of there real quick, but he's just like chilling there, just talking. Like, oh, this is really neat. Oh, this
He's
is
like
how you
looking
get his
around,
rescue?
like, wow.
So this is what it looks like in here. All right.
Yeah.
Constant share saying, love your Beethoven poster in the background.
That's wonderful.
We got my mom in the chat saying hi to everyone.
Hey, Mama.
Hi, Mom.
All the moms are here.
Born to be Rad says, hard cases, fish knows what's up. Never knew it was John Hughes. Which one? Which one did you not know?
Probably Beethoven.
Probably more than one.
There you go. Born to be Rad says, stack panel tonight. Love it.
Thanks, Garrett.
Yes, love that movie. All right, everybody saying hello to each other. Jim Power saying gobble, gobble, gobble. I don't know why, but
why not?
Rad. How is Sue? Not Curly Sue.
I don't know.
It was an afterthought.
Went over.
It was so obvious. It was hard to come up with. I guess. It was one of those
Side hustle saying Ferris Bueller's Day Off to produce the desired drugged out effect for his role as the drug addict in the police station. Charlie Sheen stayed awake for more than 48 hours before that scene was shot. Yeah, good call out. Yep, Charlie Sheen's in there. And then who's the sister? I feel
Robert
like
Downey
the
Jr., right?
Jennifer Grey.
Is she the one in Dirty Dancing?
Dirty Dancing.
Okay. Yep.
Red Dawn, Dirty Dancing.
Yeah. And it's so funny in the movie. She's all getting so frustrated with Ferris. Like, why does everybody love Ferris? And, like, somebody even asked to like donate to his his funeral for like being sick or something.
Yeah.
I always loved her character because I feel like that would be me.
I think so too. I think that would be me as well. I'm like, you know what?
So I always loved her character.
Same.
Oh yeah, and Ferris Bueller has a post-credit scene as well. Great post-credit scene.
Yes.
That's in Deadpool takes two to kind of replicate it in their
Yeah, that Deadpool makes fun of it. Yeah, that was great.
It's like, what are you doing here? Go home. The movie's over. Oh, so great. All right, so we still got a lot more, everybody. So let's get into now because we did not mention everything. So we got to mention some more John Hughes titles, some honorable mentions here. All right, Derek, we got some honorables over there.
Only one that no one. I mean, I was gonna say Home Alone 2, but I mean that's implied when you talk about Home Alone. The only one that no one mentioned that is amazing and needs to be talked about is Weird Science, which is my friend the other Derek's favorite movie of all time. So, and it has Oingo Boingo on the soundtrack, which means it's a winner for me. But that's probably out of all the ones he directed, besides Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, it's probably my favorite one, I would say. At least with the teenage element. As far as the teenager movies goes, that's probably the funniest one he's done.
Oh, look at that. Right. That sells it by itself.
Right, yeah.
Oh yeah, I love that movie too. It's one of my favorites.
It's so funny. Chet in that movie, the brother. Oh,
yeah, I was about to say
good.
Paxton. Amazing.
Bill Paxton, yeah.
So funny. Just how he talks and everything, and then he gets turned into that like alien monster thing. I'm like, when that happened, I'm like, what is going on here? Like Hughes had a way of just having sometimes those random scenes like thrown into a movie. You're like, okay, this is very fantasy like, but for some reason it works with the movie.
Works, yeah.
Yeah, I think
with that one because it was so out there.
Yeah, it all makes sense.
Yeah, I think that was probably his most like fantasy like kind of movie, right? Science fiction-y, fantasy like. Yeah, that would just go everywhere.
I would say so.
Who else is in that? Is Robert Downey Jr. is in that one too,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
it is.
Anthony Michael Hall's the main guy.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Uncle Tony. I know we got some stuff.
Yeah, so a lot of the ones I was going to talk about have already been spoken about, but in 1983, he wrote Mr. Mom with Michael Keaton, and that's back when being a stay-at-home dad was probably unusual in those days. So it was a lot of comedy, you know, the dad with the kids really not knowing what he was doing. And yeah, Mr. Mom's a good one.
That is a good one. Yeah, I just watched that again recently for the first time, and it was really, really good. Oh, Fish, show that one again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, I only watched it once, like
very
a couple
good.
years ago. It was good. I love Michael Keaton, though. He's amazing.
Oh yeah, you're like,
he's
oh, he's so young in
He's so
this
good.
movie.
Yeah, if nobody else brought it up, I was about to say Mr. Mom because I love this movie. I watched this, once again talking about fantasy and being in your mind and stuff. Michael Keaton's little soap opera with the next door neighbor kind of thing was so hilarious. I loved it all the time. Yeah. And
Terry Garr's good too.
Yeah, she's good.
Oh yeah, she was.
Oh yeah. Terry Gar's fantastic. Oh yeah. And then the kids are great, but yeah. Martin Mull, great, douchey character, but yeah.
Fish, did you have another honorable mention?
I do. Nobody. Okay, this one gets not a lot of National Lampoon's love, but I watched this one over and over and over again for some reason because it was always on TV or HBO or whatever. But I really enjoy European Vacation. I do. I know I might be one of the only ones, but I really enjoyed this. Oink oink, we'll be pigs. But yeah, this one was a lot of fun, especially I don't know if you can see it, but the German scene when they go to Germany and have the little dance off and stuff. Oh my God, that thing is so great. But yeah, all their mishaps in every country are so great. But yeah, European Vacation, I really enjoyed this movie. Doesn't get a whole lot of love. I want to give it some love.
Yeah.
Well, you get me excited to see it though, so I've never seen it, so now I'm more excited. I'm like, only people ever say terrible things about it. So I'm
I know.
I
mean, it's not the greatest, but I love it. I do, but because it's the one I watch so much. Because growing up, it was on HBO or Cinemax all the time during the summer. So
it's still good, but it's not. I think it's the least best out of all of them.
Yeah, it's just not as good as the other ones around it.
It's not Christmas and it's not original.
Yeah.
So,
I was gonna say it's not as iconic as the first, and with Christmas, and then it's European, but it's still funny. It's mindless entertainment. So
right. I mean, it's Chevy Chase. It's Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo. That combination.
Yeah, they're so good together. So
common gold. Yeah.
The recurring joke with Eric Idle is the best part of that movie. I haven't seen it in years, but I always love that part.
See, there we go. All right.
All right, Sue, you got an honorable mention?
Well, I was gonna pull Mr. Mom, and then Tony mentioned it, so I guess we'll just go with 16 Candles because I showed it off as like my backup for the romance. So we'll just go with this one. It's just so good. I love it. Again, it's relatable because how many girls out there have had a crush on a guy that they think is unattainable? Me. Like
still to this day, girlfriend.
I love it. I love it so much. It's so funny. It's quotable, so quotable, and it's just great. So 16 Candles.
Yeah,
sexy girlfriend.
Exactly.
and you feel so bad for her because everybody forgets her birthday. You're like, what?
Yeah, everyone forgets her birthday.
Dad remembers and they have a nice conversation, but you're like, what? Everybody.
And the grandparents are always hilarious to me. I love them.
Yeah.
They just speak. Yeah, embarrassing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're good for it.
And speaking of crushes,
I feel like everyone at that age felt that way about their grandparents, like cringy,
But speaking of crushes, Michael Shuffling, yes, he was. Jake Ryan, like two first names that fit so well together. Jake and Ryan,
He was 80s hot, that's for sure.
Hey, he was in Mermaids. He was 90s hot too.
Yes, he was in Mermaids. Yes, he was.
Mermaids is a good one.
That's 89.
That is a good one.
Oh, that's still 80s. That's right.
My best in 90s.
Yeah, we gotta keep Jake Ryan in the 80s where he belongs.
All right, dude. What do we got for honorables?
I want to talk about a movie that was never made, but I want to shed some light on it. It was called Bartholomew versus Neff. It was going to be two neighbors who couldn't stand each other. It was written by John Hughes, and he was also going to return to directing, and he was going to direct this. It was going to be starring John Candy and Sylvester Stallone. something happened to where Sylvester Stallone decided to go do Cliffhanger instead, but they were going to come back and do this movie together. But before they could, John Candy unfortunately passed away, and it was never made. But it's just a movie I wish that would have been made. Like people, like when they talk about movies that were never made, this is the movie I wish was made. It was called Bartholomew versus Neff.
Wow. Okay.
That's awesome. I don't think I heard of that, surprising.
And that would have been a great combo too.
Yeah, I think it would have been great.
Yeah, because Stallone is like sneaky funny.
Exactly. Has anybody seen Oscar? That one's great. Yeah.
Oscar.
Not yet. I gotta watch it.
Yeah.
All right. So one honorable mention from me, and that's going to be Just Visiting, and this is actually a Kino Lorber release, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, it's a fun movie. I wouldn't say it's a great script. Hughes did write this one, but I say this movie's good. But it still has a lot of laughter. It's still kind of funny. It's a fish out of water story because you got these medieval people going to the modern world during, their current time. Yeah, it's funny. It's just cool to see the fish out of waterness, and they're like looking at the bathroom, like, what's this toilet? And then how they eat at the restaurant because he has like this servant, and he just like throws food to him on the ground. And the lady's like, hey, don't you think they should join he should join our table? But just like any other John Hughes movie, it has a great ending for everybody. Like he goes back in time, gets reunited with his love. But then the servant, he gets to be like free and on his own and has a girlfriend. And like, I think they go to Vegas or something. So great ending too. Very fun. But yeah, did they see Just Visiting?
I haven't.
I have not, but that's Christina Applegate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that coming out in the theater when I worked there. That's a remake, I think, too. And I think the original. I think the original has Jean Reno and the other guy too.
I had a big crush on Christina Applegate as well.
Yeah, Jean Reno. Yeah.
Don't tell mom.
Yeah. Don't tell mom about Christina Applegate.
We need that Blu-ray.
Right. Maybe if we keep talking about it, putting it out there.
We gotta push it.
So I went to a showing of Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead a couple months ago, and the writer, I guess, lives down the street or whatnot. So she showed up and she was there. So I asked her the question, how come we don't have a better release of it? And she said that there's no demand for it. Like there's no demand. But she did say that they start filming the remake on May 15th. So it's coming up soon. They're going to do the remake. And so they're going to see how that does. And maybe a new release will come from that.
Probably release the old one when the new one comes out, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm,
So you're telling me I need to see the movie then, right?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Don't Tell Mom. Yeah.
It's so good.
I haven't seen it yet either. Don't feel too bad.
Another good one.
You've never seen
Adventures in
What?
I
Babies.
don't know why. I just never did.
I've seen the
Adventures in
Adventures in Babysitting. That one is good. Yeah.
I was gonna say you should get right on top of that, Rose.
Yes.
This is the babysitting I lived on as a child, but I never saw Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. For some reason.
Don't Tell Mom's it's good. I got the VHS of that one.
All right, you guys got
wow.
homework.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I did forget to mention. I think it was briefly mentioned, but the Miracle on 34th Street remake. I haven't seen the original. Just curious, is the original like really good as well? Because I love this one.
It's so.
Oh, the original really good. Natalie Wood.
Yeah, the original is perfection, but that reboot of it was amazing also.
Yeah, I thought the remake was great.
If you like the remake, definitely see the original.
Okay.
The original is a great, like, cozy black and white movie. I love it. I recently watched it, I think, not this past, but the year before for the very first time. And I enjoyed it so much, I knew I had to watch it again. So, yeah, definitely.
Maureen O'Hara, Natalie Wood. Fantastic. Great.
Yep.
Well,
Oh yeah, go for it.
No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say I didn't expect the story at all because I didn't know anything about it, and then it becomes a courtroom drama. I'm like, oh, this is pretty interesting. This is cool. Santa Claus on trial. Let's go.
Right.
That's a fun idea.
No, I wanted to, since we were talking about Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, it's one of my favorite movies. So I wanted to show off a prized possession I have.
Oh,
Here.
let's see that. Let's get you full screen for that one.
Oh yes, dishes are done, man.
Dishes are done, man.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a real dish.
Don't put that one
That
in
is
the
awesome.
dishwasher now.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I have a small collection of Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead stuff. So
that's cool. That is cool.
That's really cool.
You got the VHS tape?
I do.
Okay, so say I'd send it to you if you didn't.
Oh no, I have it. Yeah, I have it. Thanks.
Yeah, 7 of them.
I don't know.
All right, let's run through these comments, and then we still have a couple discussion questions, everybody. So we're not done yet, but just to look at a few comments here. Straight to Blu-ray says, "Gotta love Rooney on the bus in the credits." Gummy Bear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's on the
Born to Be
bus.
Rad. Weird Science is my fave Hughes movie. See, I was torn between picking that and Ferris Bueller's, but yeah, both
They're
great.
both good.
Side Hustle said the shot of Ferris playing the clarinet was done on the spot. Someone spotted the instrument as part of the set, and Matthew Broderick said he could play it, but of course he couldn't. But it was such a fun scene, right? That was so good.
Isn't that what you say when you're an actor? You can say you can do something
Yeah,
when
we-
you can't, and
I
just
do
figure it out
anything.
along the way.
Yeah. Just his confidence in that movie, his charisma.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great in that movie.
Born to Be Rad. I've never tossed off to anything.
You're tossing off.
Never topped off to anything. Yeah.
And then Born to Be Rad. That's sick, Cody.
Thank you.
All right, so our discussion question here, our first one. I know it's good. It's a tough one. It's the one I had to think about myself. But if you had to remake a Hughes movie, because it's been some time now, which one do you pick? All right, Derek, what one you picking? What do you think?
Well, part of me would want to say Planes, Trains, and Automobiles because I like it a lot, but Tommy Boy exists, and that's extremely similar.
Yeah.
And I personally prefer that one. I would say Breakfast Club, just because times have changed so much, but it's still extremely relevant.
Could you
As long as
imagine
it-
with the Gen Z kids?
Right, but you get a good amalgam.
They
of
wouldn't be
different
talking to each
types
other.
of
Would
things.
we have a movie? Or
They
they'd
would be on the
texting and
TikTok.
Take their
reading
phones away.
emojis and
First
like,
plot point in the movie. No phones in detention, so you got to actually talk to each other.
right.
And
There you
then
go.
it would be interesting for people to, you get the
I think.
people from different walks of life talking to each other.
Oh, yeah.
All
Things
right.
have changed a lot in 30 years, so I think
Oh
it
yeah,
would be-
no, definitely. I can totally see that. Take the phones away, take all the technology away. You gotta sit, talk.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Get to
Some
know
of them
someone
would
for
have
real
a
instead of
breakdown,
just
though,
on the
for
internet.
sure. Like, if they didn't have their phone for that long of time, they were just, what? Social
No.
interaction, I don't understand. All right, Tony, what are you thinking?
Yeah, so I'm thinking that these John Hughes films, to me, don't feel like they would ever need to have any kind of remake.
Mm-mm.
I can't imagine anybody that would be acting today that would fit any of these kind of roles. But I think, if I was to do any remake, might be like some kind of Wonderful could be done.
Mhm.
It's a pretty good, easy story to do. But to me, I just don't think I'd ever want to see any of these remade.
Fair enough. Fish,
Oh, yeah.
what do you
Oh
think?
no, I agree. One that I don't know, for some reason I just looked over at my pile over here and he's having a baby. I don't know, for some reason
yeah,
like
that'd
the
be
new
good.
generation of complications with pregnancies and life. It didn't it doesn't even have to be a straight couple. So yeah, so she's having a baby.
Good choice. Sue, what are you thinking?
I agree with Tony. I feel like they should, they're untouchable, don't do anything, but I'd probably choose Ferris because like nowadays to see how outlandish you could go with
Oh, yeah.
having a complete day off and what trouble you could get into nowadays. So I think that would be like the most interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm choosing Ferris.
Might be the easiest thing to do also.
Yeah.
probably the most fun one of all of them, yeah.
And yes, dude, what are you thinking?
So his movies just had a certain type of magic to them, and that magic left when he did. So I just don't know. I do know, and this is probably the one that I can see being remade because it is being remade, and that's Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I know they put a hold on it because the whole Will Smith slap thing, but it's supposed to be Will Smith and Kevin Hart.
Oh,
So
wow.
we'll see how that works. It's on hold now, so I don't know what will happen, but I can see that being remade. I don't know if you guys seen Due Date. That was kind of like based on that movie.
I have not. Robert Downey and
Robert Downey Jr. Yeah,
Zach Galifianakis.
yeah. But it's kind of the same premise.
Hmm.
But I guess any movie you do like that, people are gonna be like, oh, it's a
Yeah.
rip off of
Right, exactly.
that. Just like if you have Yeah, just like if you have like a shark movie, everyone just assumes it's a Jaws ripoff.
Jaws.
Yeah.
But you know what would get everybody to see the movie is if they did Will Smith and Chris Rock. Could you imagine reunited again for the movie? People would just go for the shock value. Like,
that ain't ever going to happen.
Yeah, that will never happen.
You would need a lot of insurance on that one for sure. Lots
the
of
most
slap
expensive movie ever made for no
Right.
reason.
They don't even film scenes together. It's all CGI. They insert
They're not even on set together.
Hey, you can do it, right? Will Smith did a Gemini Man, right? You could do it.
Yeah.
You can do something
Yep.
Yeah, look how that turned out.
Yeah.
Right.
We saw that, didn't we?
Right. Yeah. Best looking 4K. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, but best movie.
But I did see that they started filming the new Bad Boys, so maybe the new what's the movie called? Transplant Automobile will be soon after.
All right, so my choice, and I was back and forth on this one, so I'll mention a couple of them. So I think maybe 16 Candles, because I know when I watched it for the first time, some of the moments in there did not keep up to today. I'm like, wait, did they really just say that? I don't know. So I feel like that could be updated for sure. And, you know, it's a 16th birthday. You can do that with anyone, right? And you can even go with a male perspective and do it that way. They forget somebody's birthday. So I think you could play around with 16 Candles, definitely. Another one, I think just the easiest one would be Just Visiting, because it's so easy to do a fish out of water story. But in today's time, I think that works fine as well. And then I hate to say it because it's my favorite, but I kind of want to see what they would do with his career opportunities. But pick a different location. Hey, instead of Target, we go to Walmart. We go to Best Buy. We go to Costco.
Hey,
I don't know.
Costco. I was about to say Costco.
Yeah.
Let's go
I
big.
think they could have a lot of fun with this one. You know, hey, and if it's great, cool. I got 2 great movies. If it's terrible, I just go back to this one. So that's why I'm okay with remakes, even if it turns out not so good. It's like, I still got the original, so I'm okay.
It gets eyes on the original for sure.
Yeah.
People are like,
Ooh, let's go back and see that career opportunities. Yes. All right, let's see. We
And
got
then Sue could have a cameo in it, you know, when she's going into Target.
Yeah.
What's the song?
I'm going into Target. I haven't even been into Target in a real long time, but I'll go into Target for that.
Born to be Rad. As much as I'd never want a Back to the Future remake, but imagine a kid now going back to the 80s laugh out loud. It would be pretty wild. See, I've always been behind that remake. I think that one's easily to be remade because, different time periods. So,
yeah. Be interesting to see.
I want to go back to the 80s myself.
We all do.
I go back to the 80s to hang out with Tony.
Yes.
Don't
expect much.
A wild time with Tony.
You know what? Because we changed the past, Tony. Because Tony might be. If we change it up, Tony might not be Tony. If we kind of,
I know Tony's gonna be rocking out to White Snake and
gonna have a whole different basement.
Be president by now.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I could have a vinyl collection. Whole basement of vinyls. All right, our next question here, which I think this one's really interesting because I don't think enough people are talking about AI here. But what about an AI Hughes script? Because obviously we know it's not going to be Hughes, but a Hughes-like kind of script. What do we think about just that AI stuff in general? Are they going to try to, take these past writers' work and create new movies out of them? Derek, I don't think I've heard any of your thoughts on this. What do you think about all this AI business and writing scripts? And you can even talk about writer's strike, whatever you want. Take it wherever you want to.
Yeah, well, pay the writers more. That's the first thing I'm going to say because they make all your stuff for you, so you should thank them more. But I think it would be really funny to see any sort of AI script from any filmmaker. Like you could take all the John Hughes movies and throw them in a blender and see what it comes up with, or Quentin Tarantino or anyone like that, and just have someone funny, I don't know if they're even around anymore, but College Humor, make this movie out of this John Hughes concoction in this blender, and I think it would be hilarious to watch because they're always funny to me. Any AI written thing is funny to me, like Olive Garden commercials, stuff like that. But yeah, as far as like actual art, that's not what that is anymore because a computer is doing it. So it's not art anymore. It's just funny. So I would love to watch it, but I wouldn't really support it as a sustainable thing.
Right.
Yeah, Tony, what are you thinking on this one? No to AI ever.
Yeah, no. I don't understand it anyways.
Yeah. We're old. We don't get things anymore.
Right. We're the generation of Hughes, so yeah. I mean, no, I don't know. It takes the humanity out of it for me, and sometimes, yeah, like AI can touch on things, but if you really want to get down to it, they can't actually touch to like the heart of the story or the heart of the matter when it gets down to it. For me, so I mean, it may have some flourish and flare at the time, but for me, I don't think it's going to last if it ever does come to fruition. So
Yeah.
I don't think so. Even though we do have a writer's strike right now, those have come and gone throughout the years. They just need to pay them what they're worth, and they are worth so much more than they actually pay them. So yeah, I'm on the writer's side. I've always been on the writer's side because without writers, we wouldn't have all these great things. And John Hughes was a writer, you know. Yeah, he would know better than anybody. So yeah, because he didn't direct all the way to the end. He didn't produce. Well, I mean, he produced all the way to the end, but he was a writer through and through. So
yeah,
he'd be on the writer's side on this one. So
yeah, I mean, they're even pushing it back with the writer's strike. They're talking about AI. They're having that in their negotiations, but it seems, at least from what I've heard, my very brief knowledge is that Hollywood is, pushing back on that point. I don't know if anybody knows more information on it, but I'm like, does that mean Hollywood wants to go that direction?
Well, it's cheaper for them.
Yeah.
It is. It's cheaper, but we'll see what kind of content and what kind of yeah, we'll get. But
think movies are bad now. Just wait till that happens.
Right.
Sue, what are you thinking on this one?
I'm just shaking my head with it because I'm totally against AI as well. Pretty much everything Fish was saying, I agree with 1,000% because as a writer, you put your heart, your soul, your feelings, your emotions, your personal experiences into your writing, and a computer can't do that. It's just gonna throw out a bunch of words on a piece of paper and hopefully it makes sense. So you can't replace humans with computers with I'm sorry, the content is not going to be as good. So no.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. And Cody, what are you thinking?
So I think AI can be great if it's used correctly and if it's used to help, but not for something to create something original like that. Like I feel like that needs to come from a human. And if they need to do like touch-ups or something, maybe go there. Or if you have like writer's block or something, maybe ask AI and get some pointers from. But I don't think it should be created from that. I think if we have people who are well or able to do it, then the people should do that. That's how I feel about like even cashiers at the
the Walmart stuff.
Yeah, the Walmarts and stuff.
Walmart, Target.
Yeah.
I hate going to those self-checkout areas. I'm like,
I love it. Because I hate waiting in line.
Oh, really? So Tony,
Tony likes the self-checkout.
I worked at Walmart for like 15 years, so it's just like
I don't like people anymore.
Yeah, because I think I was reading, and they even have like a fully autonomous McDonald's now. Like no human works there. Like,
oh wow,
that's great.
You actually get your order correct.
And the ice cream machine works.
Ice cream machine's never broken.
The flurries are there.
See, so there could be some good things. But you don't get the human interaction, right? I don't know if the human interaction was that great there through the drive-through, but still.
But it's human
interaction. No Chick-fil-A, I'll say that much. But.
Right? Yeah. No AI could replace Chick-fil-A's customer service.
Yeah, I mean, my kind of quick thoughts on this, and I did a whole video on this, but once I'm kind of with Cody, AI, it's a tool. It could be used for good. It could be used for bad. It's to the extent on which you use it. Now, I do think AI is probably going to be at that level where you can get a decent enough script out of it. But once again, we don't want mediocre stuff, right? It already feels like with some movies, we get mediocre scripts, right? Derek, as you were kind of mentioning, imagine it now at that level or even below that level, do we really want that? So it can make a Hughes like type of script, but it's never going to be that top notch quality. Sue, like you were mentioning, it's not going to be that quality level. You need the artist. It's an art piece. These movies, these scripts,
Mm-hmm.
you need to have the artist there to be able to really put their own stamp on it, their own flavor. Because once again, we were all talking about it. You watch a Hughes movie, you know it's a Hughes movie. You know all those little quirkiness and the flavor he puts in it, and it's just so I don't think AI will ever get to that level. But I will say AI is getting pretty scary because you see kids having conversations with their Snapchats. Have you guys seen this at all? Like people are literally having conversations with like their Snapchat, like it's their friend and stuff. Like it's so
No, I
bizarre.
talk to myself. That's enough for me.
Yeah,
We've been
I'm
talking
telling
about
you,
this for decades. We don't
bizarre.
need
It is
computers.
so bizarre. Like they're having a full-on conversation, like saying their deepest, darkest secrets. You know, I work with schools, you know, in
Well,
education.
spreading them across
So,
again. Yeah,
I didn't
so I
even.
see all this stuff, and I'm like, what? Like, what's going on here?
I didn't even know Snapchat was around anymore.
Right.
it's like it's not like Google doesn't listen to us anyway. You know.
Right. Yeah. I mentioned something and my phone brings it up 2 seconds later, and no matter what it is.
Yep.
You got ads and ads and ads afterward. Yeah.
I was talking to my friend actually a couple weeks ago, and he was saying that there was some girl who somebody got her voice, and they were calling everybody in her phone book saying that she was not arrested, she was kidnapped, and they needed this ransom money. So it's just like that's crazy. Someone could just take your voice and call your mom and be like, "Hey, this is Cindy, and you know I was kidnapped. I need this money." It's like that it's getting crazy. You know,
I know. It's like you're gonna have to FaceTime people now. Like no longer can you trust the phone calls. Like no, I gotta see your face.
In a perfect world, AI is great, but we don't live in a perfect world.
We don't.
And people are going to use it for bad, you know.
Yeah.
That's just
we'll mostly use it for the worst thing they can use it for. Essentially.
Yeah, I really hope Hollywood doesn't try to go that direction. I hope they pay the writers, get the writers back, and making those good scripts. So.
Yeah.
In my understanding, it's more for streaming right now. That's what they're.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's the residuals and
I saw someone had like a residual paycheck for 3 cents, and it was for writing like 2 episodes of a show. It's like, well, that's ridiculous.
But you know, and it sucks because you know how many times your show is being shown on TV. But on Netflix, they don't release those numbers really. They'll be like, "Oh, the show is being seen the most ever on Netflix," but they don't actually give the numbers. So so there's no way to really give the writer that money because nobody knows how many times somebody saw your episode.
Right.
And there's no revenue coming in because there's no commercials and stuff like that. So, you know, McDonald's would be paying the writers of Seinfeld because they would be playing their ads during there and they would know how many times that episode of Seinfeld was being shown because there's, you know, the rating or that system, that Nelson system. So that's how they would get their residuals. Now that we're in streaming, we don't have that kind of stuff. And that kind of stuff needs to be brought to the light and it needs to be available for the people working on these movies because movies is a teamwork. And if you just have AI do this one thing, there goes all this team stuff. Like, yeah, John Hughes made great scripts, but he also had John Candy riffing doing what he wanted to do. He had Steve Martin riffing doing what he wanted to do. So you come together, you get these 5 fingers to come make a fist, and it just worked, you know.
Right.
You can't do that with one thing.
Yeah, it's like so shocking now that I think Hollywood is starting to realize that streaming isn't all that with making money.
Dude, exactly.
It's like before you could sell it with the box office, get a ton of money there, sell it on DVD, and then go to cable television, make money there. Now they're like, oh, the streaming, just the lump sum of the subscription money isn't really doing much good.
No, it's really not. Okay, maybe during COVID, pre-COVID and during COVID, absolutely. Streaming is where it's at. Now that people want to get back out there and like go see movies and actually buy the movies that they want and stuff. I mean, we've always been around, you know, us collectors buying physical media. We've always been there. It's the ones that, you know, have the break where like, oh, wow, there's nothing out there. There's nothing there. And now that movies are coming back into physical play, hopefully it'll be a lot better.
because like streaming sites, they don't make money off of how many times you watch a movie. They
Right.
make money off of people
Your
subscribing,
subscription. Yeah.
and so that's why Netflix will end shows at like season 4, because to them that's not getting more subscribers. They need a new
Right.
show.
You're already
to get more
done. You're already
subscribers.
watching.
Yeah, so it's, and then they spend all this money on like, you know, $400 million on the Green or whatever. What was it called? The
Knives Out,
Knives Out series.
Yep.
And then it's just like
Glass Onion.
they're never gonna get that money back. There's no way they're gonna get that many subscribers, because the people who've already subscribed to them, they're not coming back because they already know that. And if they do, it's for like a second.
Yeah,
Right,
they'll get
right.
a month or two out of them at the best. Yeah,
That's why
what I never got. That's what I never got. It's just like, we're already here. We're already here. We're already subscribed. I mean, like, you got us already, you know.
Yeah,
that's why I was kind of shocked that so many people were adopting the Netflix model of streaming. Like, all these studios jumped on it. But at least from what I understand, and maybe it's changing, correct me if I'm wrong, Netflix doesn't really make a profit. They make tons of money, but they have to spend so much money on their projects and producing content. They're not really making much profit, if anything.
Yeah, because Netflix is constantly putting out a slew of original programming all the time. They're spending so much money. So you're correct. And I believe I heard that after the whole debacle with Glass Onion, because they thought it was, when it was in theaters for that week, it was going to like pull people in, and it really didn't do what they wanted it to do. So they're no longer putting movies out into theaters anymore. Glass Onion was it. That was an experiment that failed. So anything they put out is going to stay on Netflix.
But I think they need to have a movie out in order to get a Oscar nomination. It's like 17 days or something like that. That like that's the deal that they have with the theaters.
All quiet.
Yeah. Well, the other problem is that you only have, like what you were saying, you only have the money you get from like, oh, we're gonna take X amount of money to make whatever project, but you don't get any advertising money and blah 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 blah. And they only release it the one time. It makes all the movies and shows they make very bland and safe, because they're not very artistic in what they do, unless it's like the one or two big movies, like a Martin Scorsese movie or something comes out. Like, that'll be a really good movie because it's a Martin Scorsese movie they spent $100 million on. But everything else they make, it's like, okay, make this as cheap as you can, and hopefully people watch it. And and you won't make any more money in theaters, and you can't make money on video. There's no, like, there was a really good interview with like Matt Damon or something talking about that.
Oh yeah.
Where, like, they used to be able to be more risky because they had the box office, and if it didn't make all its money back there, you'd get the second chance on video.
Oh, you get the yeah.
So now everything's like fake and cheap, essentially.
Yeah, and Netflix is hanging by a string. Like, they got lucky with Cobra Kai, and they got lucky with Stranger Things. But those are ending
their original content.
Those are ending soon. So they need to find something to get.
Yeah, they got to find their next big thing.
And I don't know if they are.
Otherwise, they're not going anywhere. You know,
and a lot of other streaming sites, when they have a TV show, they're now releasing them weekly, which was like the whole thing for streaming is like, oh, we're gonna release it all at once. So now they're just like, honestly, I still have cable, and I love cable. I watch cable over streaming all the time, and it's almost cheaper now. If you get everything, if you get every streaming site, so people are gonna go back to the cord, you know,
right? Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know about back to the cord, but I mean, at least back to the cord where it's still Wi-Fi and you can, you're streaming over it. But I'm not going back to cable. No,
I love
great. Not the box. I mean,
These were great thoughts, though. I love hearing everybody's, perspective on that. Yeah, I love these discussion questions. I got to do more of these in future streams. Did you guys like the discussion questions? Was that fun?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I'll let everybody kind of close out their, themselves, say any last minute thing to the audience, promote their channel in any way. So, Derek, what do we got upcoming?
Well, I'll be out of town this weekend, so not much. But I have my third episode of my Bad Movie Bible series coming out. It'll be on Ninja 3: The Domination. I'll have an unboxing video as soon as I can get one out. And next Thursday, the 18th, I will be doing my Blockbuster Tournament on my channel at 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday the 18th. So yeah, be there. We'll talk about #1 summer blockbusters.
All right. And Tony, what do we got going on?
Just my everyday unwrapping videos. Not much going on. I guess we have the Steelbook tournament going on. We have the slipcover tournament coming up on Bob's channel. Mid-Levolution will be getting together toward the end of the month with the Rad Pack and with the Collectors Club. So that'll be fun. Yeah, just everyday stuff.
All right, and Fish, you just had a new video, right?
Yeah, I just dropped one today, but I'm actually working on one. It's my Have You Heard Of series. So Tony actually helped me decide which one I'm going to do this time because he popped in our little Instagram conversations. Was like, "Hey, do you remember this movie?" I'm like, "All right, you've done it. This is the one I want to talk about this week." So look forward to that. Have You Heard Of? I'm also doing my hunting and hauls. So please come and join me, Fish the Film Collector. Thank you very much, Mike, for having me for this. I love John Hughes. I love all his movies, everything about him. He's a fantastic man. Gone too soon, as well as some of his actors. John Candy, gone too soon. But I had so much fun with all of you guys tonight. I really enjoyed this crew.
It was fun.
All right, and Sue.
Thank you so much for having me on. I love John Hughes movies. When you asked me, I was like, yes, I want to be on. So this was great. So on my channel, videos pretty much every single day. I have my every Wednesday night live stream at 8 p.m. So I will be live tomorrow night. And then not this coming Monday, but Monday the 22nd, I will be on Tony's Movies and More's channel. He's going to have a live stream of the best, our top 5 trilogies. So I believe it's all of us on the Steelbook crew. Laren is also going to be there, and Gus, I believe, will be on as well. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, and the dude.
Yeah. So on Friday, we are Garrett and I are gonna join forces as the Rad Dudes. We're gonna be talking Rad Dudes versus 90s Ninjas. It's gonna be all the movies that spawned from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the live action movie from 1990. Movies like Three Ninjas, Dragon, Legend of Bruce Lee, Double Dragon, and like Surf Ninjas, Three Ninjas, stuff like that. So that's coming out, and I am filming a video for my channel because I took a little time off, but I need to film one. But I don't exactly know what I have a video planned, but I recently saw Guardians of the Galaxy, and I don't know if I want to make a video about that. I'm not a Marvel person. I'm not a big fan of Marvel. But that movie had me wrecked, and I haven't been able to get it out of my head. And I kind of want to make that video, but I don't want my channel to be a Marvel channel. You know, like I don't want Marvel fans coming over to my channel and being disappointed next time I release.
When you don't have any more Marvel content.
Yes, exactly. You know, I'm going to talk about, you know, this movie. People go, oh, wow, great. That's awesome. Then the next I'll talk about, you know, Death to Smoochie or Death, you know, like something, you know, like Dr. Giggles too. They're like,
don't tell mom's babysitter's dead. And they're like,
yeah, they're going to be like, what the hell is this? But honestly, I didn't even want to see Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but I love the first two. I had Marvel fatigue. I was like, okay, I'll go see this just so I can not hear any spoilers. And I was like, dude, like honestly, ever since I watched it, I'll sit here and I'll think about the movie and I'll get choked up. And it's like, okay, maybe I should do a video about this, but I don't know how to say it or how to compose it. But it was just
it's hitting you. Do it.
I would say do it.
I was surprised that a Marvel movie did that to me. So
well, Cody, I do have another option. If you are available, perfect segue. My next stream will be a Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 post-game spoiler discussion show on this channel. It is going to be Thursday night, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so a little bit later for some people. But yeah, I'm definitely looking for anybody that wants to join in on that panel. We can get a whole big group on there. But yeah, we're just going to talk tons of spoilers. So if you've seen the movie, it's going to be fun. I love my post-game shows, of course. It's always great. Just once again, Cody, like hearing people's thoughts. You want to talk about it. You're like, oh, it's so good. We got to talk about this. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So definitely audience join in for that. if you've seen the movie, because it's going to be spoiler filled. If you haven't seen the movie, I would say go see the movie first, then go ahead and watch the replay on that. But if you haven't seen the movie yet, definitely check out my pregame show I did last week for it. No spoilers in that, just get you hyped up for the movie and a little bit more informed. And we reminisced on the past Guardians movie. So that was a lot of fun. But then other than that, for my channel, just dropping videos every day, a lot of physical media topics, of course, physical media deals, all that good stuff. And then out of theater reactions for some movies this weekend. So ton of stuff from my channel. But I got to say, thank you, panel. This was an amazing panel tonight. You guys love John Hughes movies just like I do. And I never thought in a million years that I would have people to talk John Hughes to. It's like people in your real life, like, oh, do people talk about these John Hughes 80s movies? Do people remember, career opportunities? I'm like, everybody knew career opportunities here. So this was an absolute blast. This was a super fun stream. So thank you again, panel. You're all amazing. Everybody's links are in the description below. So hey, audience, go ahead, show everybody some love. Go ahead and subscribe to those links. Turn on those notification bells. And most importantly, watch the content. Everybody appreciates the view time, absolutely, and just have a good time there. But yeah, that's pretty much it for us. Once again, thank you, audience out there, for being in the comments tonight, watching, just having a good time, talking John Hughes with us. But for now, everybody, have a great night out there. Have a good day. Go watch the movies. Make it a movie day.